So diving right in, we have my very first tattoo, Kiyosoma from Fruits Basket. I got him done in July 2022 by this lovely lady named Alice, and he only took about 90 minutes to complete. Fruits Basket is my favourite anime of all time. Of course I had to get my favourite couple together. I have a pretty good pain tolerance, so on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd only give this one about a 3. Although when she did start with the white ink for the highlights, it did get a whole lot spicier. I dragged my best friend along with me for this session, as my anxiety was pretty high on the day, but I did buy her lunch in exchange for the moral support. This one has obviously been healed for a couple of years now, so the black isn't as pigmented as it was back then, but I still think it looks amazing. As I got them both done on the same day, I opted for no breaks and sat still for the whole session, which did mean I was quite achy afterwards. Which brings me to the second of the two, Toru Honda, one of my favourite female protagonists. Alice had a whole flash sheet dedicated to Fruits Basket, and I thought this shot of her holding Kyo in cat form was perfect. This one also took roughly 90 minutes and was around a 3 on the pain scale. However, it is slightly bigger than my first tattoo, probably around the size of my hand. The plan for my legs is that one is going to be dedicated to characters I deem wholesome, and the other side to characters that are badass. I think my next tattoo on this leg will be Ghoul or Killua, or both, from Hunter x Hunter. Like Kyo, this one has had a few years to heal now, so the black isn't as pigmented, but I still love the detail on this one, and overall it's probably my favourite tattoo. I get a lot of compliments on this one, but I'm only able to show it if I'm wearing shorts or dresses. There is a potential for me to get other characters from this series on my leg, as it was so hard to choose just two. Maybe Hatsuharu or Shigure. Or I was possibly thinking about getting some of the Demon Slayer characters, especially little Nezuko or Tanjiro, as they're also two of my favourites. But for now, I'll leave it as this. Moving swiftly on to my biggest tattoo to date, Katsuki Bakugo from My Hero Academia, which was also done by Alice in January of 2023. I know there's quite a divided opinion on My Hero, but this anime is very important to me, as it got me through the COVID lockdowns. It introduced me to so many new friends, a few of which live in different countries, and it was actually one of the first animes I watched all together with my mother. He was one of my favourite characters almost instantly, and I thought his quirk was so interesting and versatile. I love how he's finally getting the character development he deserves, and I hope to see more of him in the next season. The tattoo itself was slightly more painful than the first two, but I'd still only rate it a 4 on the scale. It was probably due to the fact that his mask required solid black shading. This was my first tattoo on my left leg, as in my opinion, Bakugo is incredibly badass. This one does take up a large portion of my thigh, so I'm not quite sure what designs I'll put next to him, but for now, at the time being, he was the only one, and I loved having him as a solo portrait. I've only got those 3 from Alice, but I would definitely book him with her again in the future, as her work is so incredibly stunning, and the hold-up is brilliant. And in terms of cost, I was actually able to get him at a discounted price during a Black Friday weekend deal, so I was incredibly lucky on that front. I apologise in advance for the dodgy angle of this one, but it was quite awkward to film. This is the first and only tattoo that isn't an anime character. It's a traditional Japanese dragon that I helped my artist named Rory design. The placement was difficult to choose for this piece, as I don't have the thickest of limbs, but I wanted to start getting designs on my arms. I like where we placed it in the end, as I regularly get compliments on it for him. I thought it would hurt way worse than it actually did, being so close to my wrist, but it wasn't so bad. I'd probably say it was a 4 out of 10 again. After asking a selection of my friends, we came to the conclusion that his name shall be Doug Derpy Dragon. Eventually, I would like to make this piece part of a complete arm sleeve, though I'm not sure what I want to add on to it. I'm probably going to try and stick to the traditional theme, maybe some koi fish or some cherry blossoms, something like that. And I'm going to keep it all in black and white to make it cohesive. I'll possibly go to a different artist though, as Rory was actually a travelling one. And finally, my most recent tattoo, Ken Kaneki from Tokyo Ghoul, done by the wonderful Geraldine. Tokyo Ghoul was the third anime I'd ever watched, and from then onwards I knew I needed to get a piece dedicated to it. This was the last tattoo I got in 2023, and it was sort of like a Christmas present to myself. Even though some of the lines go over my kneecap, this was probably my least painful tattoo. Perhaps it was because I was more confident going into it, as by that point I knew the tattoo appointment drill, or it was because of how excited I was to get it. Ken was my first piece done by Geraldine, but I will definitely be booking in with her again in the near future. She's especially skilled at fantasy weapons and Lord of the Rings concept, so I would love to get a Narsil sword spinal tattoo, although that will be one I'll be saving up for a while. I really hope someone enjoyed me waffle on about my tattoos, as I get really excited when talking about them, and I just love sharing the detail and each artist's different take.